So you've got this idea of creating a Zoom meeting call inside CS between characters and you don't know how to. Well, this is what this video is all about. Hey, what's going on everyone? My name is Ali and in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to design a Zoom meeting call inside CS. And so I want to show you something maybe you're unaware of. If you go into the characters and then you open up the drop-down menu, you scroll to the bottom, you're going to see scenes. These guys are pre-made scenes that are ready for you to incorporate as part of your project. And so one of those scenes is the Zoom meeting call that we've got here. So if I show you this one, right, and then I press play, this is what the pre-made or pre-rendered scene that CS has got for us and is part of the scenes that are ready for you. So again, there is a bunch of scenes that you can utilize as part of your project. They're amazing. I mean, they're not a lot, but they're so beautiful if you incorporate them in your projects. But again, if you want to use their designed Zoom meeting call, you're actually stuck with the characters that they have. But what if you're looking to create your own characters and you want to design this the way you want? Well, this is what we're going to do in this video. And so before we dive deeper into this, I've got an example that I want to share with you. So let's go ahead and watch it and then come back to the tutorial.
Hey, Linda, have you had a chance to look over the new marketing strategy proposal?
Yes, Dave. I think it looks solid overall, but I have a few suggestions for refining our approach.
Great, let's hear them. We're always open to improvements.
Firstly, I believe we should focus more on social media engagement to reach our target demographic effectively.
Interesting point. How do you propose we integrate that into our current plan?
Well, we could start by increasing our presence on platforms like Instagram and TikTok, where our audience is most active. It could really boost our visibility.
That sounds like a plan. Let's discuss this further in our next meeting and see how we can implement it. Thanks for your input, Linda.
Anytime, Dave. Looking forward to it.
I hope you enjoyed watching the example. Now let's go ahead and start creating. So this is the design that we're going to create together. And as you can see, we've got 6 different characters. These are the freelancer, the YouTuber, a couple of teachers, the hipster guy, and Emma. Feel free to use your own desired characters. And the cool thing about this is that once you've learned how to design it, you can easily replace those characters with backgrounds as well in the future as per your project that you're working on. So let's dive into creating and have fun with this design. And so for the sake of the tutorial, I have got the masks as well as the background set up to save our time when designing this. So I'm going to start by removing this guy, and then I'm going to go with my first background that's going to be here. And if you want to find out where can you get those, you can easily go into the studio, open up backgrounds, and then open up the drop-down menu, 3D, and then type in Office. And then you should be able to find the backgrounds that we're talking about. These guys are named as Office View 3. We also have Office, Waiting Area, Office View 3 again, Office View, Zoom 3, and then our masks that we're going to use. So again, you are not obliged to use any of those backgrounds. Feel free to use whatever background you like, as well as the characters, but this is where you can get those guys. So we got our first background set up. Now we want to get our freelancer guy. So we're going to go into characters and then open up the drop-down menu. Choose 3D, and then we're going to type in freelancers to get the freelancer guy right there. Again, you can set up their own action and spare the dialogue. So whoever the character is doing the talking and the others are listening, then the other should be an idle, and then this one would be, and then the main character should be doing the talking, and you can just go ahead and choose a talking action for any of the characters. Just make sure that you know that all of these characters, the 3D characters, they don't have a lip sync feature, unfortunately. The only characters that can do lip sync is the 3D creators. So if you go into the 3D creators, we currently have 4. So these are a family. We've got Tom, Linka, Danny, and Bella. These guys can do lip sync. There is another tutorial if you want to learn about how to sync up your audio with these characters. Just let me know in the comments below. But for now, we're going to use the standard 3D characters, which unfortunately can't do lip syncing. We also want to get a chair behind this guy, so we can go into the studio and then search for a chair. And we could just find one that we want to use in this design. So let's just keep searching until we find the guy that we want to use. So that's going to be chair number 6 right here. I could just drag and drop it underneath the freelancer. I'm also going to need to resize it and just make sure that I position the chair right in the middle of the screen right there. And if you want to change their color, you can easily do that by using one of the effects. So if you go to the Effects and Components tab, you can either drop the hue rotation onto the character, onto the chair, or you can use the color replace one to be able to change that. So let's go ahead with the hue rotation, for example, drop it onto the chair, and then we could just try and change it from the preset settings. And there you have it. Now we have a similar color to the rest of the other chairs in the back of the background, right? This is pretty cool. So I've got my background set up right there along with my background. Now it's time to change the action for the freelancer. And then we're going to do idle for this guy. So we're going to do idle right there. And then I'm going to just drag him, line the character up with the rest of the layers right there, like this. And then I just want to make sure that I resize my guy into my scene right here. Okay, might want to flip him like this. And then finally, we want to start working with our masks. So for the masks side of it, you can easily just use a rectangle shape, and this is going to be used as our mask. And again, for the sake of the training, I've already got 6 different masks or 6 different rectangles in the same size, so we can use them as our masks. Now, what I'm going to need to do as soon as I complete designing my first screen, I'm going to have to group all this up together. So the character, the chair, and the background, group them up. I right click again and then call this screen 1. And then I'm going to make this guy a little bit bigger to fit into my mask. So I'm going to decrease the opacity for the mask just for now, so I can resize my guy, make sure that this is big enough in the scene, and then we could just position this where we want. Something like this is quite fine. And then when you're done, you just want to make sure that you go and increase the opacity of your mask back again to 100. Next up, select your mask layer along with the group, which is screen number 1. Right click and then choose mask, and voila, now you have your first screen set up. Next up, we go with screen number 2. So this is going to be our background. Let me just get these guys away for now. And then this is going to be our second background. Again, I'm just going to make this guy a little bit bigger right there. And then you might want to go into this background because it's a group of contains multiple layers, like the other chairs and the laptop as well as the PC screen. So we can just open up the group right there and take off these guys because we don't need them, right? So I'm going to remove all of the unnecessary objects from this scene and then go back into the main timeline. Then I can go and drag my second character, which is going to be the teacher. So I'm going to open up my studio one more time, go to characters, 3D, and then I can search for a teacher. And I should be able to find the teacher lady that we want to use, right? For this one, we're not going to use a chair, or we might want to actually. So I already have one right here that I can use. I'm just going to drag it underneath the character. I can position my chair exactly where I want in the scene and also resize my character. So we're going to scale her up. We might want to scale down the chair a little bit more and then just position it right behind the lady right there. And then when we're done, we just want to drag the chair layer really close to the background and also scale or extend it in the timeline to line it up with the rest of the layers. She's also going to be idle, right? So in this tutorial, I'm going to make all the characters idle just for the sake of this video. But again, when you're working with audio, then you're going to have to change the action from idle to talking. And then that way You can have the audio, looks like synced up. It's not going to look perfect because like I said, these characters cannot sync up with audio, unfortunately. So now that I've got this set up, I'm just going to make sure that my character is in position, and then we're going to select all the layers. So the character, the chair, and the background, right click and then group these guys up. We're going to rename this one and call this screen number 2. And then we're going to grab mask number 2. So this is going to be our mask. I can also decrease the opacity just so I know exactly where this is going to go, like this. And then when I'm done, I just simply click on the mask layer again and then increase the opacity back again to 100. Then you want to select your screen number 2 along with the mask, right click and then choose mask, and voila, now we have our screen number 2 ready. Next up, we're going to go with the waiting area room right there, and that will be our third one. So we can just scale it up like this. And then we're going to go ahead and grab our hipster guy. So we can just go into our studio, characters, 3D one more time, and then search for the hipster guy. And let's just find him. Here you go, hipster guy. All right. Then this guy is going to be is going to do the talking, right? So I'm going to change the action from waving to talking right there. And then I'm just going to drag the guy over here. I'm also going to grab a chair underneath him so I can go into my projects, get the chair that I want to use for this guy right here. I'm just going to grab it and make it underneath the character right there. Again, you want to position it where you want, resize, take care of all of that. And then when you're done, you just resize your character as well, like this. And let's take a look at while he's talking. Does he look right or not? We just have to make sure that he's going to be a good fit in the scene like that. Don't forget to extend a layer of your chair as well as the character in the timeline to make sure that everything is perfectly lined up together. And again, as soon as you're done, you select all 3 layers. You can right click and then group, and then again, call this screen number 3. Then we're going to grab mask number 3 right there. And we can decrease the opacity just to see what's going on underneath it. Position the character where we want, like this. And then don't forget to go back into the mask and then increase the opacity back again to 100%. Simply select the mask layer as well as screen number 3, right click and choose mask, and then voila, we now have screen number 3 ready for us. Next up, we go into view office number 3. So we can start designing the third one, and that would be the YouTuber guy. So for this one, I'm just going to open up the group because we have a chair right there and a desk. So I could just remove this desk and then use another one actually. So let's just get this guy close in the scene like this. And then we can go into the studio and then search for a desk, and then find one that we want to use in this scene. So I'm thinking we can use this guy right here. So I'm just going to scale this up like that, and then have the chair right there. And I can also add the character inside the group since we're inside right there. So let's just make sure that we have an empty track between the chair and the desk. Then we can go and then find our YouTuber guy under characters, 3D, then type in YouTuber, and we should be able to find a guy right there. This guy is going to be idle as well. So we're going to change the action from wave to idle right there. And then we're going to increase the length in the timeline, make sure he's all set, and then resize this guy like that, just to make him look like he's sitting on the chair like this. And he looks just fine. Now we got that set up. I think he is quite good. We could just go ahead and grab our mask number 4 and then decrease the opacity. It looks like the scene is a little bit small, so we can resize it and make it bigger like this. So we can go with something like that until you're happy. And then finally, when you're ready, you can simply increase the opacity of your mask again back to 100%, and then select your mask along with the background or the scene, right click and then choose mask, and voila. Now we can go and rename this guy and then call this screen number 4. Next up, we have the next background right there. We can also just make it bigger like this, and then open up the group again, because this one has a desk and and a chair right there, right? So we can just drag the layers to keep an empty track between the chair and the desk. And then our next character is going to be the other teacher. So we're going to search for that. And then we can just go and grab her right there. She just needs to be between both layers. I'm going to change the action as well and make this idle. And then I want to align the layer and the timeline. Then we're just going to grab these guys and make sure that we have the correct size. Again, for her sitting on the chair, I may want to flip her like this. And then I think we're good to go. So we can just go back into the timeline, main timeline. And then we grab our mask number 5. Then all I want to do is decrease the opacity for my mask and then make my scene a little bit bigger like this, just to be able to see what's going on behind the mask before I create my mask. And then when you're happy, that's when you apply the mask. Go ahead and select your mask, increase the opacity back again to 100, select both the mask and the scene, right click, choose mask, and voila. Then we can rename this guy and then call this screen number 5. And finally, get our last background, which is called zoom number 3. We're also going to make this bigger like this. This is a single layer, so that's fine. And then we can go ahead and grab our last character, which is Emma. So we can search for her, and then we can just grab her. She's also going to be idle. So I'm going to change her action to idle right there. I'm also going to grab a chair for her so I can go into my projects. And I think I've got one as well for her that I can use. Let's just go ahead and resize this guy right there and position my background exactly where I wanted. Then I'm going to grab my character, make sure that the chair layer is underneath the character just so that it looks right. And it looks something like this. Now we're good to go. It's all about fine-tuning the layers or adjusting their length to make sure that they're all lined up in the timeline. And we can simply just group all this up. So we highlight the background along with the chair and the character, right click and group, right click again. And then, well, we don't need to rename this for now. We're just going to grab our mask right there, decrease opacity to see if we're happy with the position of the scene. Everything looking good so far. Now click on the mask one more time, increase opacity up to 100. Then you're going to select the mask along with the scene, right click, and then you're going to choose mask, and then voila, now we have all scenes ready for us. It's just about well, let's see what's happening here. It looks like I have something that's not perfectly lined up. Let's just get in there and then find out what is happening. Okay, there's something, I'm not sure what's going on, but let's just move on. You get the idea of how to create a similar design like this. Now it is time for us to start creating this guy, right? The Zoom call icons that you have, that you can see in here. So I'm going to show you how to create this and where to find the icons and all of that, just so you can have fun creating stuff like this from scratch. So first of all, the background that you're looking at is basically a rectangle with rounded corners. Then we have a few circles right there and a few icons for the video, the mic, the handset, the person with the plus sign, and 3 dots right there. So that's exactly what we're going to create together. How do we do this? We simply start with a rectangle. So we're going to hit the shift key along with the letter R to grab a rectangle. And then I'm going to resize it. Then I'm going to make it fully rounded like this. And then I'm going to make sure that it's going to be the same size of my other design, just like that. And it's fine-tune the size like this. And then once you're happy, you could just move it up a little, right? So I can continue designing my stuff. I'm going to change the color of it from blue to white right there. And then we can go and start grabbing the other stuff. So the next one is going to be another circle that we're going to use as a background for the video icon. So I'm going to hit the shift key along with the letter R to grab a circle. I'm sorry, the letter C to grab a circle like this. And then I'm going to zoom in so I can just resize my circle. That's going to be the background. And then I could just make sure it's going to be the same size of my design right here. Then we could just position it on our new design right there. Then I'm going to change its color, and then I could just pick up the color from my actual design right here. Maybe I want to make it a little bit darker like that, so it's popping out more. And then I'm going to make a few duplicates of it. So you got this covered. Now I'm going to make another duplicate. This one is going to be the background for our mic icon. And then I'm going to make another duplicate. So this one is going to be the middle for the handset, which is going to be in red color. So I can resize it a little bit bigger like this right here. I'm going to make another duplicate, and that would be the other background for the person and the plus icon right there. And just make sure that these guys are lined up perfectly. Then we're going to make another duplicate, and that would be the background for the dots right here. Okay, once we're all set, now it's time for us to get the icons, the video, the mic, the handset, and all other icons. So where can you get those? Because I want to make sure that you can create all of this inside CS. The beauty of CS that it has one of the integrations. If you go into the media files, you can access the stock, and then from there you can go onto the SVG, and then you can open this in full gallery, and you can find all the icons that you might be looking for. So first of all, let's say if I want to get the handset, then I can just type in handset right there and then hit enter, and then I'm presented with 3 different icons to choose from. So this is where you can get all the icons under the SVG from your stock. This is beautiful. So you can leverage the power of stock that's integrated directly inside CS, and you can utilize that. For the sake of the tutorial, I've already got all the icons ready and set for me. So I'm going to drag the video icon right here. I'm just going to resize it and just make it fit into the circle design right there, like this. I'm going to make it centered, and then I'm going to change its color, use the color picker so I can use and make sure it's going to be the same color like this one. Next one is going to be the mic. So I'm just going to drag the mic, and then I'm also going to resize it and make it smaller. So we can go ahead and simply resize it like this. Now, by the way, when you're searching for SVG images, you got to make sure that the icons are a color fill, right? They're filled up with a color like this. Otherwise, you're going to end up with an outline color that you can't really change. You can, like, when you change the shape color, it's only going to change the outline because the fill is empty, or you can say transparent. So if you want to get the same icons, you got to make sure that these guys are filled up. Their color is a fill, just like this, so you can easily change their color like that, and then have fun with the design. Next is going to be the handset. So I'm going to change the circle color for this one and make it red like this, and then I'm going to go and grab the icon. Okay, so let's go into the stock again, SVG, and then search for handset, and then we can export the image, go back in the project, and there you have it. So this one, we'll have to resize it as well, make it small. Then we're going to rotate it so that it looks similar to the one in the example that you're looking at. Then we're going to have to resize it and make it really small like this. I think it looks fine. We could just go ahead and center it as well right here on the circle like this, and then change its color from blue to white, right? And then next up, we're going to go and grab the person along with the plus sign. So there you go. We have them already right here. Again, make sure that these guys are filled up with a color so you can easily change their color however you want. And I'm just going to resize these guys right here. I think he's just fine. Center him like this. Change the color to the black one that we've got, and then grab the plus sign right there. Also resize it, and then we're going to position it right next to the person icon right here like this. And then finally change its color to black as well. Then what we need to do is to grab or to add those little dots right there, right? So to do that, we need to have, maybe we can make a duplicate of this one, because these are going to be circles. So we can make, you know, a duplicate and just make it really small like this. Change its color to black as well, like this. And then we can just make it a little small like that right here. Center it on the circle, And then we can make another duplicate, drag it right next to it, make another duplicate, drag it right next to it. And we can actually select all of them and make sure that they are centered on the circle like this. And there you have it. Now you can go ahead and, simply let's remove the design that I've got here. And then I'm going to select all these layers and drag them to start from the very beginning, extend them in the timeline to line them up with the rest of the scenes. And I'm going to highlight all of them and then hit Control, or you can also do Command if you're on Mac. So Command or Control G to group them up. And now there you have it. So you've got your design. You can simply just go ahead and position it at the bottom of your design like this. We can go ahead and change the canvas color to black. And there you go. This is how you can design a Zoom meeting call right inside CS completely without the need of help of any other tools or even external resources like graphics or so. Now, the surprise that I've got for you is the project file for this video, or the example you have watched earlier. And I'm going to leave a link in the description to the project file. All Access Pass members are only the ones who can get access to this project file and start using it. And so I also want to let you know about something that's really going to make you excited, because not only are you going to see the project file, but I'm going to share with you a link in the description as well, because in this folder, I've got more than the project file that I'm going to share with you. So those who don't know, I have some freebies for all CS members. So the stuff that I've got for you to enjoy are animated stickers. You have editable logo templates. These are the free projects, right? So when you get in there, you can find, a few freebies that you can use, and they're all yours, right? And then we have members custom request. That was a while ago when I asked members to request, some graphics, and I included that as part of the freebies. And then you have new effects tab and effects pack, as well as track matte transitions. So again, all these freebies are ready and there for you, and are there for you to enjoy so you can have fun creating. I hope you found this tutorial helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.